Let's try something new. Maybe I should call this cheapskate reviews, the literary equivalent of digging through the discount DVD bin at a gas station at 2 a.m. In this series, we dive headfirst into the wild, weird, and occasionally wonderful world of Amazon's free Kindle offerings, including Prime Reads, Kindle Unlimited throw-ins, and promotional giveaways. Or at least, they were free on Amazon at one point. My Kindle remains in perpetual airplane mode. Some are hidden gems. Most aren't. Dean Koontz's Shadowfires was originally published in 1987 under the pen name Leigh Nichols, one of the prolific author's earlier works. Today repackaged with his more marketable moniker, the novel reads like a draft in which no editorial voice dared say, perhaps, fewer pages? The plot is pure Koontzian confection. A brilliant yet evil geneticist named Eric, furious at his wife Rachel's request for a swift and tidy divorce, promptly dies in a car accident, only to return from the morgue looking suspiciously lively. Rachel, understandably rattled, hits the road with her conveniently hunky love interest Ben, pursued by Eric and the inevitable government goons who'd really rather no one knew what sort of science he got up to before his untimely combustion. One can almost admire the audacity. The novel is stuffed with elements that should sing, but the execution fumbles. Never one for subtlety, Koontz lays it on thick with overwrought prose and internal monologues that often feel less like character development and more like the author ticking away at a word count. Paragraphs spool out like stubborn taffy. Descriptions of street corners, facial expressions, and emotional reckonings are delivered with the solemnity of scripture and the pace of molasses. Rachel and Ben are perfectly serviceable protagonists in that they are earnest, good-looking, and thoroughly devoid of texture. Ben is a Vietnam vet with some thoughtful commentary about the post-war collapse of Southeast Asia. Arguably the most interesting element of the novel, though it almost feels stapled in from another book. Meanwhile, minor characters like Julio and his partner drift in and out of the narrative like understudies waiting for a cue that never comes. As for the villainous and undead Eric, his arc starts with promise, but his narrative soon mutates from intriguing to absurd. His transformation into what can only be described as a kind of sentient radioactive crustacean is rendered with such fervor that it borders on comic. A pity, because a better book lurks somewhere under the surface of this bloated one. Dialogue often flirts with parody, and at times Koontz's prose achieves the kind of unintentional humor that can only arise from an overly earnest writer. Case in point, a cringy love scene involving copious measures being emptied in a moment of passion so dispassionate it feels like reading a biology lab report. The less said, the better, but suffice to say, romantic it is not. And yet, Shadowfires isn't terrible. It's a serviceable thriller with flashes of atmosphere and an enjoyably bonkers premise. If you're reading it through Prime or Kindle Unlimited, you'll get exactly what you paid for. Just don't expect taut storytelling or restraint. This is Koontz unfiltered, overwritten, overlong, and oddly charming in its commitment to taking itself too seriously. A monster book that mutates into a chase thriller, then into something else entirely, before quietly dissolving into a cheerful, crowd-pleasing finale. Like its villain, the novel keeps shifting, just not always into something better.